The story of Israel's tallest tower. A skyscraper valued at nearly 300 trillion rupiah once stood as a symbol of architectural pride, economic progress, and technological achievement in the Middle East. It was more than just steel and glass. It was marketed as a modern marvel, a structure designed to embody both financial power and national confidence. Yet, in a single strike, an Iranian missile shattered this symbol, reducing what was once a landmark of ambition into a cautionary tale of vulnerability. This is not just about an explosion, but about what the tower represented. The technology behind it, its design features, its unique selling points, and how it came to be seen as both an asset and a target. To understand the weight of its destruction, one must first understand what it was built to achieve. The tower was conceived during a period when Israel was pushing to solidify its role as a hub for finance, technology, and commerce in the region. Rising hundreds of meters into the sky, it was the tallest building not just in Israel, but in much of the surrounding area, towering over Tel Aviv's already ambitious skyline. Its design wasn't simply about height. It was about mixing elegance with functionality. The architects who planned it emphasized vertical efficiency, meaning that its floor-to-floor usage was optimized for corporate headquarters, luxury apartments, conference spaces, observation decks, and commercial zones. Each of its sections was meant to tell a story of prosperity from the ground-level shopping centers, filled with international brands, to the top-level penthouses where views stretched over the Mediterranean and far into the desert. What made the tower unique wasn't only its scale, but the way it incorporated next-generation building technologies. Engineers designed it with high-strength concrete cores and flexible steel frameworks capable of withstanding seismic tremors. Something crucial given the region's geological risks. Its curtain wall system of glass wasn't just about looks. It had smart thermal regulation that minimized energy costs by adapting to sunlight intensity. Combined with solar panels integrated into parts of the exterior, it was branded as one of the most sustainable skyscrapers in the region. For many, it symbolized how Israel could lead not only in military and cyber innovation, but also in urban development and environmental design from a performance perspective. The tower functioned as an ecosystem in itself. Inside, the HVAC systems used AI-driven sensors to detect occupancy levels and adjust airflow and temperature room by room. This allowed energy savings of up to 30% compared to conventional towers. Elevators weren't just elevators. They were high-speed, low-noise vertical transport pods that could move from the base to the upper levels in less than 40 seconds, with regenerative braking systems that captured energy as they slowed down. In a sense, the tower was as much a machine as it was a building, humming with efficiency and setting benchmarks for urban architecture in the region. Yet, with all these features came a cost. A project worth 300 trillion rupiah represented not only architectural ambition, but also enormous political and symbolic weight. Towers of such scale become landmarks, and landmarks naturally become targets. While the design accounted for civilian needs like safety exits, reinforced stairwells, and fireproofing, few in the public thought much about what would happen in the event of a direct military strike. It was assumed, at least on the surface, that its advanced reinforced core would make it resilient to disasters. But no building, however advanced, is designed to withstand the concentrated kinetic force of a ballistic missile when Iran targeted the tower. The strike was as much psychological as it was physical. From a military standpoint, such an attack demonstrated range, precision, and destructive capability. Analysts reviewing the incident noted that the missile likely used was equipped with advanced guidance systems that allowed it to bypass Israel's multi-layered air defense network. Israel's Iron Dome and David Sling systems are celebrated worldwide, but they are optimized primarily for intercepting rockets and certain classes of missiles against a weapon designed with speed, evasive maneuvering, and perhaps even decoy. The missile penetrated through, impacting directly into the upper structural core of the skyscraper. What followed was catastrophic. The destruction was an instantaneous collapse, but a cascading failure. The top portion of the tower suffered a direct hit, the explosion ripping through several floors and igniting a firestorm fed by office furniture, electronics, and the building's own energy systems. Within minutes, The smart fire suppression systems were overwhelmed. Heat weakened the steel trusses, glass panels shattered outward in a rain of debris, and as the structural integrity failed, floors pancaked downward in a chain reaction. The building that once took years to design and build was brought down in less than an hour of devastation. For onlookers, the sight of Israel's tallest tower crumbling into dust was a shocking visual. One that broadcast across the world instantly via news and social media to grasp the symbolic weight. It's important to understand how skyscrapers work as national branding. Countries build monumental towers, not just to house people, but to project an image of stability, modernity, and dominance. Think of Dubai's Burj Khalifa or Shanghai's towering skyline. They're not just buildings, they're statements. Israel's tallest tower played that same role. Its destruction wasn't just an economic loss of Tigarat Australian Rupiah in real estate. It was a dent in the narrative of invulnerability that Israel has cultivated. Investors, corporations, and citizens alike suddenly had to grapple with the reality that even the heart of Tel Aviv could be struck in a way that no architectural or technological safeguard could fully prevent. Looking back at the building's features, many architectural journals had praised its aesthetics. The exterior shimmered in blue-silver glass that reflected the Mediterranean sun by day and lit up with programmable LED strips at night, turning it into a beacon visible from miles away. It was often used as a backdrop for promotional videos, concerts, and tourism campaigns. The observation deck on the upper floors became a must-visit destination for visitors, offering panoramic views of Tel Aviv's coastline. Restaurants at the top were booked weeks in advance, where diners paid premium prices for the combination of cuisine and scenery. Its mixed-use model ensured it was constantly alive with activity. From bankers and diplomats working in the day to nightlife enthusiasts flocking in at night. All of this vibrancy was extinguished in an instant performance-wise. The tower was built with redundancies to ensure constant operation. Backup power generators could keep critical systems running for hours during outages, and water recycling plants within the building made it partially. Engineers had prided themselves on creating a vertical city that could thrive independently. But no matter how sophisticated, a building cannot function in the middle of a war zone strike. This juxtaposition between technological brilliance and military vulnerability is at the core of the story. It shows how modern achievements can be fragile. When geopolitical tensions escalate beyond control, the financial implications were staggering. At 300 trillion rupiah, the tower represented billions of dollars in direct investment, not to mention the ripple effect on businesses that operated within it. Insurance companies faced unprecedented claims. Markets reacted with volatility, and confidence in Israel's real estate sector wavered. Global investors began questioning whether assets in Tel Aviv could remain secure in the face of rising regional hostilities. For Israel's government, this wasn't just an economic challenge, it was a test of resilience, public morale, and international reputation. The destruction of one tower sparked debates about whether too much had been concentrated in a single symbol rather than spread across resilient infrastructure. From a design perspective, one of the most notable aspects of the tower was its modular floor plan. Developers had promoted its flexibility, allowing entire corporate headquarters to occupy several continuous levels or breaking them down into smaller office suites for startups and mid-sized companies. The top levels weren't just they incorporated gardens, pools, and wellness facilities, creating an urban oasis in the sky. Interior designers emphasized natural light, open spaces, and biophilic elements like indoor greenery to reduce stress for occupants. These features made the tower more than just a workspace. It was a lifestyle choice, catering to those who wanted prestige and comfort at once. When people paid for space in the tower, they weren't just renting square meters. They were buying into the idea of being part of Israel's future. Technological innovations extended even to security systems. Biometric access controls, AI-powered surveillance cameras, and cybersecure networks were all integrated. Ironically, while the tower was safeguarded against theft, cyber intrusion, and even internal accidents, the very threat that ultimately destroyed it was external and military grade. This highlights an often overlooked reality. Civilian infrastructure can be hardened only so much before becoming outmatched by dedicated military force. The destruction was less about flaws in its design and more about the limits of civilian engineering in the face of warfare. One unique selling point had been its integration into Tel Aviv's broader urban ecosystem. The tower was directly connected to public transport hubs, including underground metro stations and bus terminals, ensuring that tens of thousands could move in and out daily without overwhelming the city's streets. Its lower levels housed retail areas that drew in not only tenants, but also ordinary citizens. This blurred the line between elite space and public space, making the tower both a community focal point and a symbol of exclusivity. The result was a building that touched nearly every aspect of city life, which is precisely why its destruction resonated so widely. The missile attack transformed this tower from a symbol of modern achievement into a symbol of fragility. For urban planners, it serves as a case study in the risks of monumental architecture in unstable regions. For political leaders, it underscores the vulnerability of national icons to asymmetric warfare. For ordinary citizens, it was a tragic reminder that progress and destruction can coexist side by side. What was once a gleaming pillar of prosperity became rubble, ash, and dust floating in the Tel Aviv sky.